KCAC, it's Ron. Thanks for dropping by. Just sitting here on a nice Sunday afternoon, enjoying the weather. We got 55 degrees going on right now. Clear skies, just great weather right here in Phoenix right now. So, loving it. Hope everybody's doing well. And I got some albums lined up for today. Now I still have some 45s to show. I think those are coming up next week. I've got some stuff coming in the mail, so next weekend, 45s. So today is albums, and gonna get going with something that was just recently released, and I just picked it up a few days ago. And it's The Remains, live 1969 on Sunday's Records. Now this has never been released before, and it was recently discovered in Barry Tashin's archives. He was the lead singer of the band, and he was going through some stuff and he came across the tape. And it's their one-off reunion gig from 1969. They only played one night, one gig. And it's live in Boston at the Boston Tea Party, March 16th, 1969. They present the whole set here. And man, this is just killer high energy garage rock. And they hadn't played together since around 66. So they had been broken up for a few years, and they got together, and I was reading the liner notes on this, and they didn't even rehearse. They just got together and started playing. I just could not believe it. So, wow, that just tells you how great this band was, you know, to perform like this and never even rehearsed once. Amazing. So, pretty cool set list of some different stuff, you know, not your typical stuff that you would expect. And the recording is not great, but by all means it's not bad either. It sounds a little bit fuzzy, but that just adds to the garage atmosphere. And it appears that Sundays is starting to release stuff, and they're putting them in these bags now rather than shrink wrap. And let me get a close-up of the hype sticker too while I'm showing this. So it has like this zip seal right here. Kind of cool, I guess. Less stress on the album cover, you know, to prevent bending. They're also starting to put these nice inner sleeves. They're getting away from paper, I think, because this is the first Sunday's album that I've ever bought that's had this type of sleeve in it. And they reproduce the, sort of reproduce the Tower label design, which is pretty cool. This band probably should have been on Tower. You know, I think that label would have been better for the band than Epic was. Epic didn't do shit for the Remains. So yeah, these guys, you know, obviously were full of talent because they opened for the Beatles in '66 on their US tour. So this is a good one to get if you're a Remains fan, for sure. Okay, this one I just picked up, and it's what's on the turntable right now. It's the Brian Jonestown Massacre, their Satanic Majesty's second request. This is just an awesome album from 1995. And when this was originally released, it was released on CD only. So since then, in recent years after the vinyl boom, it kicked back in. It's been released on vinyl at least once or twice before this issue. This is a 2011 UK import on colored vinyl. And it's kind of a yellow, and it's got a little bit of a white pattern around the label. Sounds great, man. It just, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better than the sound on this album. Really good. Double album, and I was fortunate enough to get this used. Now there's a reissue of this that just came out 2017. It's on black vinyl. So I got lucky and I found a colored vinyl edition. So very cool. Comes with these cardboard inner sleeves. Like heavy cardstock, which is nice, but the only problem with this is they didn't make the jacket big enough to accommodate that. So it's, when you go to slide it in, it's just really tight. So I don't even put them in the jacket. I'm just gonna put the vinyl in the jacket and then keep these on the outside. So yeah, they really dropped the ball on that when they designed the size of the album jacket, because it's just too small. And that's, you know, that's I was reading online, and other people that have bought that album had the same problem. So it's not an error, it's just the way that they designed them. Okay, this next one is called, it's a compilation from 1984. It's a UK import on the Big Beat label, and it's called Rockabilly, Psychosis, and the Garage Disease. It's a mixture of rockabilly, psychobilly bands from like the 80s and 60s garage bands thrown in. Really cool comp. Here's the bands. Now, interest to me was this band, the Geezers, also known as Grant and the Geezers, and they were from, they had a British frontman, and but they were out of Arizona, and so they have one track on here that you can't get on any other record, and it's a cover version of Folsom Prison Blues. And here's the vinyl, clear pink. So pretty cool. This next band I remember because I listened to them back in the 80s, and it's Plan 9. And this is their first full-length album, 1984. It's called Dealing with the Dead. And this is excellent garage psych. Here's the label. They were out of New York, and very cool band. Back in the 80s, I actually had a dub cassette copy of this album. A friend had this album, and I made a recording of it. So I did have the tape of this back then, but never actually had the album. And you just don't find these out in the wild. You can get them online, but you don't see them around here. So I scooped it, you know. It's a pretty good album. Damn good album, actually. So very cool. Now this next one I had back in the early 80s when I was a Beatles fanatic. And I always kind of wanted to get another one if I could find it with the insert, and I finally found one. It's music from the movie Son of Dracula with Harry Nilsson and Ringo Starr, 1974. Comes with this trick cover. So, very cool. And it's on an interesting label. It's on the Rapple label, which is a cross between RCA, Harry Nilsson's label, and Apple Records, which is Ringo's label. They call it Rapple. And it came with the rare insert, which is an iron-on. And this is the original bag. Now the copy I had back in the day did have the iron-on in it, and I always wished I could find another one, and I finally found one. It's never been used, and it says "Bite It" on it. So cool. Yeah, I imagine most people put these on t-shirts back then, so they're hard to find. This movie is on YouTube, and I want to watch it because I've never seen it before. I noticed there's one clip on there where Harry Nilsson is performing in like a club setting, and he has a band with him. And on drums is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin doing a cameo. So, pretty cool. If you're a Zeppelin fan, never seen it, check it out. Okay, pick this up. First can heat. The original shrink wrap with the hype sticker, which I'd never seen before. Now, back in the day I had all the Can Heats albums, but I got rid of them. So this is the only one I have now. So the Liberty label. This was cheap. Couldn't pass it by. Never seen it with that sticker before. Very cool. Now this next one I had back in, I think I got it in '75. Either my cousin gave it to me or a friend of mine gave it to me. I'm not sure which. It's Grand Funk Survival, 1971. And this is in the original shrink as well, with a hype sticker promoting the photos that came inside the album. There were 3 different caveman photos, one of each member of the band. And I had those photos when I was a kid. In fact, I had them on my bedroom wall. And I've been looking around, and I have seen them around. This copy didn't have the photos in it, but I can get them. I mean, they're not all that rare. I'll get them. So yeah, pretty cool. Came out in 1971. I haven't heard this in probably over 40 years. So I'm probably going to play it today. Man, looking forward to that. Now, although it didn't have the photos in it, it had something else in it. And I'd never seen this before. It had a poster inside of it. And it's a Black Sabbath poster. And I come to find out this is the original poster that came in US copies of Master of Reality? And so yeah, I'd never had that album. I don't have it, so that's something I'm gonna have to get now. So wow, this poster is like minty. I mean, no yellowing, no holes, no tape, no tears. Just look at the back of that thing. Wow. So this alone's probably worth 20 bucks. So man, good score. Okay, this is a Candlemas album. You may know their Psych album. It was a private press here in Phoenix, and this is just stuff that wasn't on that album, and it consists of a few singles, but the main portion of this album is made up of acetates, material from acetates of songs that never got released. So this was a limited edition of 400 copies in 1995. So I got this as new old stock. And Randy got a copy as well, and comes with an insert. Definitely different from their album. It's more folky, rock, Real low-key, melancholy type stuff. Pretty cool. A little bit of psych, but that's mainly off of single like Grey Ghost, which was Candlemas related, but it's not Candlemas. I got number 306 out of 400 there. So I'd never even heard of this before. So Randy told me about it online, and I bought it from John Dixon, a Phoenix guy here. So pretty cool. Here's another Phoenix guy, and it's Hans Olson, and this is his first solo album. This guy's pretty legendary here in Phoenix, and this is a second pressing with a different cover. Came out, it was reissued a year later. This is from I believe 74. It's a 74 pressing. Originally it was released in 73, had a totally different cover. And it's called Western Winds. And this is a private pressing here in Phoenix. And I got a really nice copy of this, really cheap, so pretty glad to find this. This is just excellent rootsy, folky, bluesy music. It's kind of singer-songwriter stuff. Acoustic driven, very cool. Now Bill Compton did the liner notes on the back, and he's kind of a legendary radio personality here in Phoenix, and I always thought that was Stevie Nicks' dad. I've heard that from a couple of people, and it's kind of a urban legend around here in town, I think, that was Stevie Nicks' dad. But I got online just a little while ago and I did some research, and I found that to be untrue. So he helped promote Buckingham Nicks when they first got together here. He you know, really pushed the band on the radio and did some interviews with them and stuff like that. But he was, other than that, that's as far as it went. So I did read that he started out in Phoenix Radio in 1969, and he had a radio show here, Crux Radio. And this was a top 40 AM station, but he had an evening show that was kind of, he got to play whatever he wanted, all different kind of styles. Kind of just a free-for-all type of radio show. So he started out Crux, and he had a different name. He had a radio name. And then he became program director for KCAC Radio, which was Phoenix's first sort of free-form underground rock station. And here's another stamp right here. So from there, he helped launch KDKB. I think KCAC became KDKB. So he helped launch KDKB, which is now off the air. It went off the air a few years ago. So, and then I found out he died in 1977, you know, and I never knew that. And there was Compton Terrace, which is an outdoor amphitheater where he used to have concerts. And I thought he owned that, but I was wrong on that too. They just named it after him. So he's been dead for 40 years. He died relatively young. I think I read 31 years old. So, so much for the Arizona music lesson there. One more. It's a tribute to the Silver Apples. This is a 10-inch. And this is from 1995. This is an original pressing. It's on a wraparound paper sleeve. And it's just a few bands doing cover versions of Silver Apples records. And it came with this insert. This is pretty good. And I like what it says on the label. It says loud play. It says loud play, and it also says instructions. Play twice before listening. Not essential, but I thought it was pretty cool. And this is a limited edition of 1,000 copies, and I got number 154. Okay, that does it. That does it for today's video. And yeah, I definitely urge. Well, I'll tell you what. I do have one more album to show, and it was kind of going to be the high point of this video. But I'm gonna leave you guys with not getting to see it because this thing's dragging on too long. I promise you I will show it next week with my 45s. It's a cool psych album that I picked up, and I've never seen it shown in the VC before. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you hanging on this one, folks. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I guess I'm being kind of mean, aren't I? So yeah, that's it, guys and gals, and catch you next week. Later.